My brother Nathan died 2 years ago. He was 13. We were only a year apart, practically twins, and if you've ever lost someone like that, you'll understand when I say it doesn't ever really feel real. People talk about moving on. I think that's a lie we tell ourselves so we can keep breathing. After he passed, I didn't touch his stuff. His room stayed the same. His baseball glove on the desk, socks still half tucked under the bed, posters on the wall like time had just stopped. Mom couldn't bring herself to pack anything up either, and Dad just buried himself in work. We all dealt in our own broken ways. About a week ago, I was digging through the attic trying to find my old sketchbooks. That's when I saw the box labeled Camp Stuff, Nate. Inside were flashlights, a compass, a moldy pair of socks, and 2 old walkie-talkies we used to play with every summer, like we were secret agents. One of them was still working. No static, no garbled sound. Just that soft, open-air silence, like it was waiting for something. I turned it off quickly, not because I was scared, not yet, but because my chest felt like it was going to collapse under the weight of memory. That night, after I went to bed, I left the walkie-talkie on my nightstand. Just sitting there, I don't know why. Maybe it was stupid nostalgia. Maybe some sick part of me hoped I'd hear his voice again. Around 2:13 a.m., I was jolted awake by a faint crackle. Then came a voice, static first, then breathing. Then, "Eli, you there?" I shot up so fast I nearly knocked the damn thing off the table. My blood ran ice cold. I picked it up with trembling fingers. The voice was weak but unmistakable. "Eli, you still have yours?" "Nathan." It sounded exactly like Nathan. The same pitch, the same tone he used to use when we were sneaking cookies from the kitchen or making fun of Dad's lame jokes. My heart was hammering so hard I could barely hear anything else. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I thought maybe I was dreaming, but I wasn't. The voice came again. "Hey, it's cold here. I don't know how long I can talk. Are you listening?" My mouth moved before my brain caught up. "Nathan," I whispered. "Is that really you?" There was a pause. Then, "I don't have much time. Please, don't let him out." The line went dead. I sat there in the dark, shaking, the walkie-talkie silent again, like nothing had happened. But I knew what I heard. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't my imagination. Nathan, my brother. He was somewhere, and he was trying to warn me. The next day, I dug the second walkie-talkie out of the attic. I wanted to test them, see if it was possible I picked up someone else's frequency. But when I clicked it on, nothing came through. Dead silence. No crackle. No voice. Just nothing. I thought about what he said. "Don't let him out." Who the hell was him? And what did he mean by out? That night the voice came again, a little weaker this time. "He knows you're listening now. He remembers you." I asked who he meant, begged for answers. Nathan whispered, "He's still in my room. Please, don't open the closet." I hadn't stepped foot into Nate's room since the funeral, but now I think I have to. I didn't sleep that night. How could I after what I'd heard? Nathan's voice echoed in my head like a song stuck on repeat. "He's still in my room. Don't open the closet." That sentence clung to me like wet clothes, heavy and suffocating. The walkie-talkie sat on my desk now, silent, but somehow it felt like it was still watching me. The next morning I stood outside Nathan's room for a long time. The door was slightly open, just like we'd left it the day after the funeral. I hadn't been inside since then, not once. The air in the hallway felt wrong, thicker somehow, like the house itself was holding its breath. My hand hovered over the doorknob. For a second I thought I heard something, the faintest scrape like nails on wood coming from inside. I opened the door. Everything was still exactly the same. Baseball glove on the desk, drawings of superheroes taped to the wall, a stack of Goosebumps books next to the bed. It looked frozen in time, but not in a comforting way, more like a wax museum version of what it used to be. But then I saw the closet. The door was closed. That might not sound weird, but here's the thing. Nathan never closed his closet. He was scared of the dark, even at 13. He always kept the door open with the hallway light peeking in. I took one step into the room and felt it immediately. Cold. Not the kind of cold from a busted vent or drafty window. This was a different kind of cold, The kind that seeps into your bones and whispers, "You're not supposed to be here." I reached for the closet handle, slowly, half expecting it to twist. On its own, but just before I touched it, the walkie-talkie crackled from my pocket. "Eli, please stop." I froze. My heart was pounding in my ears. "You don't understand. He listens. He learns." Nathan's voice was thin, distant now, like it was coming from miles away. I backed away from the closet, my hand shaking. "Nathan, who is he?" There was a long pause, then the sound of breathing. "Then, he used to talk to me too. At night, when you were asleep. That broke something in me. I felt dizzy, like the room tilted sideways for a second. He said he wanted to play," Nathan continued. "Said I could go on an adventure, but he lied." I swallowed hard. My eyes locked on the closet. "Is he in there?" Silence. Then, "He wears my face now. Don't let him trick you." Suddenly, there was a loud bang from the closet door. Like something hit it from the inside. I ran. I bolted out of Nathan's room, slammed the door behind me, and didn't stop until I was back in my room with my own door locked. I sat on the floor, hugging my knees, listening to the walkie-talkie for anything, but it stayed quiet. That night, Mom asked why I looked pale. I lied, said I was just tired. She looked tired too, hollow-eyed and worn thin. We all were, I guess. Nathan's death aged all of us in invisible ways. I wanted to tell her everything, the voice, the warning, the closet, but I knew how it would sound. Insane. I'd end up in therapy or worse, drugged up and locked away. Later that night, the walkie-talkie came to life again, but it wasn't Nathan's voice this time. It was my voice. "Don't listen to him, Eli. I'm the real one." The blood drained from my face. "He's pretending to be me. He wants you scared, so you'll open the closet." I stared at the walkie-talkie, heart hammering, hands numb. Then Nathan's voice broke through again. "He lies. Don't believe anything he says." Two voices, both claiming to be Nathan, both saying the other was the imposter. And then one last whisper, chilling and sharp as a knife. "Let me out, Eli. I miss you." I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, gripping the walkie-talkie so tightly my knuckles hurt. Two voices, both claiming to be my dead brother, both warning me about the other. One sounded like Nathan. The other sounded too much like me. I turned the walkie-talkie off for the first time. I had to. The static had turned into something unbearable, like whispering right at the edge of hearing, dozens of voices just below the surface. One voice was bad enough, but hearing my own voice, the pleading, lying, twisting Nathan's words, it felt like my mind was cracking. I didn't leave my room the next morning. I skipped breakfast. Mom didn't knock. I don't think she noticed. By noon, curiosity sank its claws into me again. I turned the walkie-talkie back on. Silence, just silence. No voices, no static. It was like they knew I needed them, so they chose now to disappear. Then, later in the afternoon, I got bold, so stupid. I went back into Nathan's room. Everything was just as I'd left it. Same eerie stillness, same unnatural cold. The closet door looked like it hadn't moved, but it felt different. Heavier somehow, almost swollen, like it was holding something back. I stood in the doorway, heart in my throat, walkie-talkie in hand, and asked out loud, "Which one of you is real?" No answer, just the soft buzz of silence. "I want the truth. I want my brother," the walkie-talkie crackled. "You already lost him." The voice was distorted, like something trying to wear Nathan's skin, but not quite fitting. Then came another voice, clearer, quieter. "He's inside, Eli, not me. You know my voice." My throat was dry. "Then prove it." Silence. Then Nathan spoke again, almost like a memory. "Remember the fort we built behind the church? You fell out of the tree and broke your arm. You cried so hard you puked on my shoes." I froze. No one else knew that, not even Mom. We'd hidden it, afraid of getting grounded. My eyes welled up. Then came the other voice. The wrong voice. "We both remember, Eli. Because we're the same now," that did it. I backed away from the closet. I turned and left the room again, faster this time. I didn't even close the door. I just couldn't bear to look at it anymore. But when I got back to my room, the door was wide open. That's when I saw it sitting on my bed. The second walkie-talkie. The one I had never turned on. It was blinking red, and I swear to God I hadn't touched it. I walked toward it slowly, stomach flipping over itself. I picked it up with 2 fingers like it was radioactive. It was turned on. Static, buzzing, low, and hungry. Then a whisper so faint I had to hold it to my ear. One of us got out. My whole body went cold. I dropped the walkie-talkie like it burned me. It landed on the floor with a dull thud, still hissing its twisted, poisoned breath. That night I locked my door. I stacked a chair under the knob. I even pushed my dresser in front of it. But around 3:06 a.m. I heard a click. Not from the walkie-talkie, from the hallway. My bedroom door creaked, and something whispered in my voice. "It's me, Eli. Let's play." Play. I didn't move, I didn't breathe. I sat frozen in bed, eyes wide in the dark, staring at the door I know I locked. The dresser was still pressed against it, chair wedged under the knob, but the door was open, just slightly, a crack wide, enough to see the shadow shift on the other side, and then came the voice again. "Come on, Eli, you always loved hide and seek." It was my voice. Not similar, identical, like it had crawled inside my throat and stolen the way I speak. The playful tone, the little teasing lilt at the end of my sentences. It wasn't just mimicking me, it was me. The walkie-talkie on the floor burst into static. Then Nathan's voice came through, strained and urgent. "He's out. You let him." "Out. Why did you open it?" "I didn't," I whispered back. "I swear I didn't. He tricked you." Just like he tricked me. Suddenly something slammed into the door from the hallway, hard. The chair scraped across the floor, the dresser jolted forward. I scrambled out of bed, heart pounding so violently I thought I was going to pass out. I backed into the far corner of the room, gripping the flashlight from my nightstand like it was a weapon. The door slowly creaked wider, inch by inch, and I saw a hand. No, my hand. It curled around the edge of the door, fingers twitching unnaturally, as if trying to remember how joints were supposed to work. The nails were too clean, the knuckles didn't bend right, and the skin, God, the skin looked wrong. Like plastic pulled too tightly over something else, too shiny, too smooth. Then I saw a face peek through. It was mine, but hollow, empty eyes, lips too wide, a smile that looked stapled on. I missed. "You," it said. "You left me in there so long." My mouth opened, but nothing came out. I couldn't move. The thing slipped into my room without a sound, dragging 1 foot behind it, like it didn't belong in the shape it had stolen. Its eyes didn't blink. Its mouth stayed stretched in that awful grin. The thing wearing my face cocked its head to the side like a curious animal. "You know what he told me," it whispered. "That if I could wear you, I could stay." I finally screamed, loud, desperate, animal panic. I hurled the flashlight at it. It hit the thing's shoulder and bounced off like it weighed nothing. It didn't flinch, just kept walking toward me, grinning, mimicking. I fumbled with the walkie-talkie, hands slick with sweat. "Nathan, what do I do? What do I do?" Silence. Then his voice shaking. "You can't let it touch you. Don't let it take your skin." Too late. The thing lunged. I dove under the bed just as its fingers scraped my shirt. The fabric burned. I swear to God, it burned where it touched me, like acid or fire, or both at once. Under the bed, I held my breath, listening. It wasn't. Speaking now, just walking, slow and heavy. I could hear its feet dragging, one after the other, circling the room. Then it spoke again, softly. "I know all your hiding spots, Eli. I've been inside you. I know where you keep the fear." The room went quiet. I didn't dare move. Then, with a horrible wet sound, it dropped to the floor and slid under the bed, face to face with me, inches away, grinning. "Found you." Its face was just inches from mine. My face, warped and wrong, wearing a smile that didn't belong on human skin. I could see every detail now. The too smooth flesh, the glassy, pupil-less eyes, the way its lips didn't quite meet in the corners, like it had stapled. A mask onto a meat puppet. It didn't blink. It didn't breathe. It just stared at me beneath the bed. Then it whispered, slow and playful, "Wanna trade places?" I screamed again. Not that it mattered. Mom didn't come. Nobody did. Either she didn't hear, or something was keeping her away. The thing reached for me, its fingers brushing my cheek, ice cold but somehow wet, like touching something pulled from a river. I kicked wildly, lashing out in full panic. My foot connected with its face, not enough to hurt it, but enough to give me room. I scrambled out from under the bed, knocking over a chair as I bolted toward the door. I didn't even look back. I didn't want to see it crawling after me, twisted in my shape like some kind of nightmare spider. The hallway felt longer than usual, the shadows deeper. I flew down the stairs, nearly falling, clutching the banister like a lifeline. The walkie-talkie was still in my hand, shaking with me. "Nathan," I gasped. "He's here. He got out. It's wearing me. His voice cut in, tight and terrified. "Get out of the house now. You're not safe there anymore." I flung the front door open and ran out barefoot into the night. The cold bit into me, but it felt clean compared to the rot inside that house. I made it to the edge of the yard before I stopped, doubled over, panting. Then I heard it again. My voice. Behind me. "Don't run from me, Eli. I'm all you've got left." I turned. It stood on the porch, half in shadow, still wearing my skin like a stolen coat. But the longer I looked at it, the more it changed. My features began to melt, slowly, like wax. My eyes bulged unnaturally. My jaw started to stretch too wide, too low, splitting at the chin like something was pushing out from inside. It was discarding me, shedding the lie. Then came Nathan's voice, but not through the walkie-talkie, far from behind me. I spun around. There he was, standing at the edge of the tree line, wearing the hoodie he was buried in, pale, but solid. "Nate?" I whispered. He nodded, but his expression was grim. "It's not just wearing you anymore, Eli. It's growing." "What does that mean?" But he didn't answer. Instead, he pointed toward the woods. "There's a place, the camp we used to go there. He can't follow past the ash trees." "What? Why?" "Because it's where I died, and he still fears that." That shattered something inside me. "I thought you drowned," I said. Nathan looked down. That's what they said. Then he looked back up at me, eyes flickering with something between sadness and warning. "But I didn't drown, Eli." I opened the closet. Behind me I heard a voice roar. Not mine, not Nathan's, something deeper, ancient, hungry. I ran. I didn't look back. I couldn't. Nathan's last words echoed behind me as I sprinted toward the woods. He came through me. Now he wants you too. The trees swallowed me fast. The night air felt colder in the woods, like the temperature dropped a few degrees the second I crossed the edge. Everything was silent. No crickets, no wind. Just the sound of my heartbeat in my ears and the crunch of leaves under my feet. I didn't stop running until I saw them. The ash trees. They stood in a crooked line, black bark twisted like they'd grown in pain. Their branches didn't reach upward. They clawed sideways like arms caught in a scream. I knew this place. Nathan and I had played here every summer until he didn't come back. I slowed, panting, chest on fire. The second I crossed beneath the arch of ash trees, it was like stepping through a curtain. The air went still, dead still, like the world itself was holding its breath. I turned, expecting to see that thing behind me, chasing me with my own melting face. But the path was empty. Then the walkie-talkie crackled. Nathan's voice came through, faint but clear. Good, he can't come here. I dropped to my knees, clutching the device. "Nate, what is he? What the hell was that?" There was a long pause. Then, "He's what lives behind the closet. Behind all closets. Behind the dark." I didn't understand. I didn't want to understand. "When we're kids," he continued, "we see things. Things adults stop seeing. We close the closet door and we think that's enough. But it's not. Something's always waiting." I looked up at the trees. They swayed now, but there was no wind. "Why did he take you?" Nathan's voice broke. "Because I answered him. He whispered my name at night and I whispered back." My stomach dropped. "He told me he missed you," I said quietly. "That he wants to trade places. He wants skin, Eli. Real skin. Yours, mine. Whoever will wear him long enough for the door to stay open." I swallowed hard. "Can we stop?" "Him?" Another pause. Maybe. But only if you burn what's left of me. The words hit like a fist. Nathan, what are you saying? There's something he's still tied to, a piece. It's in the closet, a tooth. Or maybe it's my heart. I don't know anymore. He sounded tired, like he'd been carrying the weight of this secret for too long. If you burn it, he can't stay. But you have to go back. I stood up slowly, heart sinking. You want me to go back into the house? Yes. To open the closet? Yes. Silence. Then he added, almost a whisper. He'll try to trick you again. He'll look like me, sound like me. He might even beg. But I'm already dead, Eli. Don't forget that. I wanted to cry. I hadn't cried since the funeral, but now it felt like a dam was cracking behind my eyes. Nate, I miss you. I miss you too, big bro. The walkie-talkie went quiet. I stood there for a long time, the ash trees swaying behind me like mourners at a funeral. Then I turned and started walking back home. The walk home was different. Every step felt like I was marching toward a grave, except the grave wasn't 6 feet under. It was behind a wooden door with old hinges and a terrible secret. The house stood silent when I got back. No lights on, no sound. It looked asleep, if that makes any sense, like a beast waiting for me to step inside and wake it up. The front door creaked open on its own. I didn't flinch. I was done being scared. I was just tired. So damn tired. Stepped in. Everything inside was still. Too still. No sign of my parents, no ticking clock. Even the walkie-talkie in my hand didn't make a sound, not even static. Like the moment I crossed the threshold, something deeper had taken hold of the air. I moved through the house slow, careful, like it would collapse if I breathed too hard. The hallway stretched too long again, shadows clinging to the corners like living things. Nathan's door was open. That same low cold leaked from it, bleeding into the hallway like a fog. I stepped inside. The room hadn't changed. It hadn't aged, but it felt smaller somehow, like the walls were closing in the longer I stood there. The closet loomed ahead. Closed, quiet, waiting. I took out a small bottle of lighter fluid I'd snatched from the garage, a box of matches from the drawer in the kitchen. I held them both in trembling hands, and then the closet door creaked, on its own just a little, just enough to let out a faint breath of air that smelled like rot and dust and wet fur. My whole body screamed at me to run, but I didn't. I couldn't. I walked to it. Don't play games, I said out loud. I know you're not him. No answer. I reached out, slowly. Fingers wrapped around the handle, and I opened the door. It was dark inside, blacker than it should have been. Like the shadows inside weren't just dark, but alive. And sitting in the center, on the wooden floor, was something small, a tooth human, yellow, tiny. It pulsed slightly like it still had a heartbeat. I nearly gagged. Then came the voice. Eli, soft, familiar, Nathan's voice, but something was wrong this time. It was too sweet, too calm. You found it, thank you. Just hand it to me now. I'll take it back. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I could feel it behind me. I could smell it. That wrongness, that rot. You're not him, I whispered. The voice changed instantly. You're right. Now it was low, cruel, almost laughing. He was weak. But you? You're stronger. You'll last longer in the skin. I poured the lighter fluid into the closet. It soaked the floor, darkening the wood. I struck the match, hand shaking. Then came the scream, not from behind me, from the tooth. It screamed like it was alive, high-pitched, shrill, something that didn't belong in this world. The closet seemed to shake, shadows boiling like smoke. Clawing up the walls, I dropped the match. Fire erupted instantly, swallowing the tooth, the floor, the shadows. The closet lit up like hell had opened its mouth. The scream turned into 1,000 overlapping howls, voices, laughter, sobbing, growling. Behind me, I heard footsteps charging toward me. Heavy, violent. I turned just in time to see myself, mouth open in a silent roar, eyes pure black, lunging for me with arms outstretched, but it stopped short. The fire touched its skin, and it howled. Its face melted like wax in boiling water. It clawed at itself, screaming in my voice, begging, Eli, help me, it's me, please don't. But I didn't flinch. The flames rose higher, the room shook, and then it was gone. Just like that. No more screams, just fire, crackling quietly like it was satisfied. I backed out of the room, down the hall, out the front door. I didn't stop until I was standing in the driveway watching the fire consume the upstairs window. It didn't spread to the rest of the house. It didn't need to. It only wanted one thing, and it got it. The walkie-talkie buzzed once in my hand. Thank. For you, Nathan's voice. Then it fell silent. The fire department showed up about 20 minutes later. They didn't ask many questions. The blaze never spread beyond Nathan's room, and strangely, no structural damage. Just charred walls, the burnt remains of the closet, and a blackened patch of floor where the tooth had been. They said it must have been faulty wiring. Mum cried. Dad didn't say a word. He just stared at the ashes like he was trying to see something that wasn't there. Nobody questioned me. Nobody mentioned the smell that lingered in the air, like something burnt from under the floorboards, like hair and rot and smoke. But I knew what had really burned. I tried to sleep that night. Really, I did. But I kept seeing that thing's face, my face twisted and melting. I kept hearing its voice mimicking Nathan, mimicking me over and over. I didn't know if I'd ever sleep again. The walkie-talkie sat on my nightstand, quiet, innocent now, just a plastic toy. I stared at it until sunrise. Days passed. The house got quieter. Mom and Dad finally packed up Nathan's things. Not all of it. Some stuff we donated, some we kept. But the closet stayed empty. Just black scorch marks now. A warning etched into the floor. I never went back inside that room. About a week later, I was alone in the house. Mom had gone shopping. Dad was working late. I thought about throwing the walkie-talkie away, just tossing it in the trash, burying it in the woods, anything. But something in me couldn't. I guess part of me still hoped. I don't know what I hoped. That maybe I'd hear him one last time. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the little green button. My finger hovered over it, and then, without me pressing anything, it crackled. Just once. Soft. And then Nathan's voice, faint and distant, came through. Eli? I froze. It wasn't the other thing, I could tell. This wasn't the mimic. It was weaker, sadder, fainter than before. Nathan. It's fading. The door's closing now. My throat tightened. You're safe? A pause. Not safe. Just further away. He's still out there, Eli. He's always looking for cracks. Goosebumps crawled up my neck. How do we stop him? Silence for a long time. Then just before the signal faded completely, don't leave your closet open at night, and the walkie-talkie went dead. I haven't heard from him since. It's been 3 months now. The walkie-talkie's still on. My nightstand. Sometimes I stare at it too long. I haven't touched the closet in my room since. It stays shut. Always. I even nailed it closed. Just in case, I don't care how childish it sounds, because here's what no one tells you. There's something behind the closet. Behind all closets. And sometimes, when a kid disappears or goes silent or starts talking to someone who isn't, they're not imagining things. They're whispering back. So if you're reading this and you still sleep with your closet door open, you're playing with fire. And it doesn't just want to play. It wants your skin. Your skin.